when LeBron and you had the conversation courtside. You were being very honest about that interaction, and you said, okay, we don't like each other.
Right.
How do you feel you handled that situation overall? Are you proud of how that went?
I wouldn't use the word proud. I would tell you that I don't regret anything that I did in terms of handling the situation. I don't regret it now. And I would tell you my feelings haven't changed. I don't like him at all. He doesn't like me at all. I don't like talking about him because I think people think that I'm looking to talk about him like LeBron's inside of Stephen A's head. If you don't ask me about him, I won't talk about him. You see what I'm saying? I got a job to do, and he will never interfere with my job. I'm gonna be professional. This man is one, in my mind, the second greatest player to have ever played the game of basketball. He's a great ambassador for the game of basketball. He's an incredible role model. What he has done with himself, what he has done with his crew, is beyond admirable, and he will always warrant the utmost respect.
A storm's brewing in the NBA, and not even the biggest superstar can dodge its shadow. Stephen A. Smith just dropped LeBron James's name right into the middle of whispers about a massive gambling mess, and fans can't stop talking. This isn't just about rumor-controlled Yaran. It's about why LeBron's name keeps popping up when people start connecting dots. Things between Stephen A. and LeBron have always been tense, but now that tension's hit full blast. Their feuds become more than media noise. It's turned personal. It all lit up when Stephen A. criticized Bronny James, and LeBron clapped back, calling him out for crossing a line.
I kind of agreed, like, when he said that, LeBron, you put me in a position you don't want us to, on one hand, you want us to respect your son, that's your son, but if he plays and he comes in, you're also telling us not to do our job. So I kind of agreed with him on there, but...
What seemed like a sports debate exploded into something deeper. A mix of race, media power, and the question of how far public criticism can go. That blow-up didn't just end online. It opened the door to new speculation. Some reporters started connecting that drama to whispers about a gambling investigation sweeping through the league. LeBron's not charged with anything, but Smith's bold questions made people wonder if there's more behind the curtain. One report mentioned a co-conspirator accused of leaking non-public NBA data that supposedly involved information about a Lakers player. And you can guess which name got dragged into it.
I mean, and LeBron is probably one of the people that feel like, nigga, I don't have to be cool with you because everybody else is cool with you. I don't fuck with you.
For LeBron, this mess adds another weight to his already heavy off-court story. He's not just fighting time and protecting his legacy. Now he's dealing with a wave of public suspicion and non-stop media scrutiny. For Stephen A., it's his moment to press bigger questions, not just about LeBron, but about what the limits of commentary really are. How far can the media go before it crosses into character assassination? And that's the real twist.
I think that both of them are at the peak of their respective fields, right? And I think that
personal drama meets professional chaos as the NBA's gambling investigation widens. It's no longer just about players getting caught up. It's about how much heat the league can take when its biggest name even brushes against controversy. Once LeBron's name entered those rumor circles, everything exploded. The chatter online turned into full-blown TV debates and internet deep dives trying to find hidden clues.
It was ego. He wanted approval from LeBron, wanting acknowledgement from LeBron to me, and I felt like sometimes two people, you're not going to mesh with everyone.
Even though not one credible source has named him in official papers, his fame alone made him the center of the storm. Stephen A., always ready to stir the pot, questioned why the superstar seems untouched while other players and staff get hit with suspensions and probes. On air, he hinted that the timing of certain arrests and leaks felt a little too convenient. Fans ran with it, creating wild theories about influence, access, and how far protection for top-tier stars might go. Underneath all this, small details keep fanning the flames. A seized data firm reportedly listed the Lakers among its clients, just enough to make headlines. Even without any real evidence tying LeBron personally, that connection keeps social media buzzing nonstop.
You know, some of the things he's saying, some of the ways he's moving. I mean, when I watched the LeBron thing play out last year, it felt like a moment where I was like, I wanted Stephen A. to take the high road.
In that climb,
inside the NBA's boardrooms, execs are sweating bullets. A superstar, even rumored to be close to a federal investigation, threatens the league's image like nothing else. Behind closed doors, risk teams are quietly mapping out scenarios. Not because LeBron's guilty, but because his name alone can shake the entire system. So while nothing's confirmed, the whispers won't fade. The league's biggest icon is standing in the center of a storm that could change how fans see power, access, and trust in the NBA forever. LeBron James has kept himself completely off camera on this whole gambling mess.
I get this, the ego thing again. Look like LeBron chumped you in front of
You sitting in my seat.
You're right, exactly. I get it. But at some point you got to make a decision about how you're going to move.
And that silence is speaking louder than words. No statement, no denial, nothing. To some, it's a genius move to stay above the noise. To others, it looks like he's dodging questions. Either way, the silence only feeds the storm and lets public perception run wild before any real proof even shows up. At this point, the speculation isn't about guilt. It's about influence. When a player as massive as LeBron dominates every inch of the sport, being pulled into controversy feels almost unavoidable. The bigger the name, the bigger the shadow. Now comes the real heat. Stephen A. Smith's public call-out.
Say he wants to have a conversation in public, like approaching him in public, in front of the cameras. He's saying that it's a conspiracy, that he was set up. And I'm listening to this man, and I'm like, I agree with Mark. I would hope that he'd take the high road.
When the NBA's gambling scandal exploded across headlines, Stephen A. didn't hold back. He flipped from commentator to straight-up challenger, putting LeBron's name front and center in a storm of pointed questions and public suspicion. On his podcast and TV spots, Smith questioned why LeBron James hadn't been mentioned anywhere in official investigations, even hinting there might be deeper ties or unanswered questions hiding beneath the surface. Smith's challenge hit just as the FBI revealed indictments connecting certain players to organized betting operations. That timing made his words hit even harder. Instead of just reading from legal documents, he leaned into something bolder. The idea that the league's biggest name might live in a zone of influence that never really gets checked. That suggestion alone sent shockwaves through the entire NBA world. And let's be clear, Smith didn't throw out direct evidence. He played it smarter than that. He framed it as, when the system is compromised, even the untouchables become part of the story. That single line flipped everything. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about who's guilty. It was about who's protected. By quietly linking LeBron to patterns of insider betting and data leaks, Smith painted the picture of a superstar who might be too big for the system to question. Even if done subtly, it hit deep. The man who once stood as the face of the league suddenly looked like a possible weak spot in its armor. That kind of talk isn't random. It's strategy. Smith's approach stirred up massive speculation while demanding the league take a real stance. The reaction was instant. News outlets tore apart his quotes line by line, social media lit up with endless threads, and people inside league offices reportedly started asking questions too. LeBron, usually untouchable behind his fame and legacy, was suddenly facing a new kind of pressure. One that doesn't come from the court, but from the court of public opinion. This moment marked a turning point in the scandal. The story shifted from who was being charged to who was being questioned. And once Stephen A. set that tone, the debate got way bigger than LeBron himself. It became a conversation about power, privilege, and how far influence can go before it's challenged. Through it all, LeBron's silence turned into its own headline. While analysts linked his injuries to tipped wagers and networks replayed Stephen A.'s comments on repeat, LeBron stayed calm. No emotion, no statements, just business as usual. He kept his social media routine going, stayed focused on appearances, and refused to feed the frenzy. Reports have surfaced pointing to a jaw-dropping connection, one that allegedly ties insider Damon Jones to leaked information about LeBron James's private health details before a Lakers-Bucks matchup back in February 2023. According to those court filings, Jones supposedly passed along inside data about LeBron's ankle soreness before it was officially announced. That single leak, if true, set off alarms across the league. The very next day, the Lakers dropped a 115-106 loss to Milwaukee. On paper, LeBron was probable with ankle trouble, but behind the scenes, someone might have already known too much. The reports make it clear, though. LeBron wasn't charged, accused, or even directly connected to any wrongdoing. His name only came up as part of the health info that got passed around. Still, that small mention was enough to keep whispers alive and social media running wild. Inside the Lakers organization, people didn't take it lightly. Multiple outlets said coach J.J. Redick and top executives called immediate meetings after the news broke. The focus? Reinforcing the league's strict anti-gambling rules and warning players that even innocent behavior can pull them into investigations. The message was loud and clear. You don't have to place a bet to end up in the crossfire. Meanwhile, LeBron kept it calm and business-focused. A recent podcast even praised his sharp financial discipline and no-risk mindset, with hosts saying that staying quiet fits perfectly into his style.
But everybody hasn't had the relationship that I've had. I'm in the media. I'm a commentator and pundit. I know the things that you've done behind the scenes. I know the things that you said behind my back. I know what you tried to do to derail me from being in the position that I'm in today. I know that if it were up to you, I'd have been stopped years ago. So it goes far deeper than I'll ever get into publicly. Knowing that, I still went on the air and was fair. And to me, you know, the way he handled the situation, coming up to me, courtside, all right, fine, you're emotional, whatever. I don't know who's getting on you at home and you might have felt compelled to do it. All right, fine. You reach this, on Saturday night in Boston, after that happens, you talking to RJ, Richard Jefferson, our colleague at ESPN. Good brother, your former teammate. Whisper in his ear, he said something about me as a father, I couldn't take that. But when that man went on Pat McAfee show, just to insult me, that was the final straw. Bob Iger knows it. Jimmy Pitaro knows it. Burke Magnus knows it. Bosses at ESPN. Dave Roberts knows it. Rich Paul knows it. I'm sure, even though I haven't spoken to him directly, Maverick Carter knows it. The closest that I've ever come to backing up in my life has evaporated. I won't take one back step when it comes to him in life ever again, because I've done my job.
Total control, minimal exposure. For LeBron, silence has always been a strategy, not surrender. But in this storm, that same silence cuts both ways. Some fans see his quiet as confidence, a man above the noise. Others see it as distance, a way to step back from a scandal that could taint his legacy. And Stephen A. Smith, he's not buying the quiet act. To him, not denying anything leaves room for speculation, and he's been loud about it. In his words, when the system's compromised, even heroes become symbols of vulnerability. That's the kind of talk that gets headlines, and keeps them. As the saga grew, the story stretched beyond the court. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It became a national media event. Sports networks, news podcasts, even late-night shows started dissecting every angle. Stephen A. Smith, never one to hold back, shifted his focus directly to LeBron, dragging the discussion from locker room chatter to primetime television. His message hit hard. This scandal wasn't just about the players caught in the FBI net, it was about the league's biggest superstar, his influence and how far it reached. Smith never said LeBron was part of the operation, but he kept asking why no one had come forward to clear his name publicly. Why was there silence about those injury-related leaks and insider bets? Why wasn't anyone asking the hard questions? That framing changed everything. Suddenly, the focus wasn't on guilt, it was on doubt. Stephen A. had turned the whole conversation into one about perception, and perception spreads faster than truth. Networks ran special reports questioning how deep these betting partnerships go and whether the sport's biggest icons are too close to the action. Experts began debating what it means when a player of LeBron's size gets dragged into speculation, even without charges. They warned that this kind of narrative hurts more than any verdict ever could. For the NBA, the problem wasn't what was proven, it was what was believed. Beyond the headlines, another issue came to light: those billion-dollar deals between the NBA, sportsbooks, and broadcasters. The same system that promotes gambling now had to defend its own integrity. That's what Stephen A. was really calling out: the tangled web connecting data, money, and fame. While the rumors roared in the background, Stephen A. Smith's words turned the whole story into a dramatic face-off. The athlete on one side, the analyst on the other. It wasn't just commentary anymore. It became a battle of narratives. On one end stood LeBron James, the most powerful player in the game. On the other, Stephen A., the loudest voice in the sports media. Both locked in a spotlight neither could escape. This chapter isn't really about cold, confirmed evidence. It's about what happens when culture, influence, and perception collide. When the league's biggest name becomes the topic of debate, even in rumor form, the entire balance of the sport starts to shift. Suddenly, people aren't asking who got charged. They're asking who still seems untouchable. And that question alone is shaking the foundation of the NBA. Inside locker rooms, the mood has changed big time. What used to be pre-game routines, music, laughs, light banter, now feels tense, watched, uncertain. Players aren't just thinking about the next game anymore. They're thinking about what they say, what they post, and who might be listening. After the FBI arrests and those jaw-dropping reports about insider data leaks and organized crime ties, every team in the league felt the shock. The trust that held the sport together cracked overnight. Even coaches started to speak up. Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra called the arrest of Terry Rozier a shocking day for professional basketball, and that quote echoed across every arena. Players began realizing they're not just battling opponents on the court. They're battling suspicion, surveillance, and the fear of being dragged into something they didn't do. It's not only about who's guilty, it's about who gets caught in the fallout. Veterans like Shaquille O'Neal spoke from the heart, saying it's shameful to see the game they helped build dragged through to scandal and exploitation. Those words hit home. For younger players, it's even harder. Do they stay silent and risk looking guilty, or speak out and risk saying too much? The pressure's real, and no one wants to be the next headline. Social media only adds more heat. Every post, every interview clip, every reaction becomes evidence for internet detectives. Sports talk shows, betting podcasts, and online commentators are dissecting every move players make, from their warm-ups to their rest days. Inside the teams, everything's shifting. Coaches and front offices are telling players straight up, watch what you say, where you go, and who you trust. Meetings are being held about how even small details, a conversation, a rest day, or a casual locker room comment, could end up under federal review.
He took it personal and took it to another level. To come on ESPN just to insult me with a show that comes on after me, we know what you were doing. So my attitude is, fine. Fuck it. This is how you want to do it? We good. Now we're in my lane. Because, make no mistake, it's my lane. LeBron trying to go up against me, you could try that, go in the shop. Just so y'all know, before anything happened, I volunteered to come in the shop. When I've been asked, I said, one condition, no edits. Air what you see. I'll happily come on. This is what I said at the time before any of that had happened. But he's not gonna take me up on that offer because you see, I keep receipts. And you wanna play that game with me, we fine. But the world needs to just understand, I'm gonna be professional. And I'm never gonna violate my professional ethics. I'm not gonna impugn my name, that of ESPN and Walt Disney, SiriusXM, or anybody else. But in the same breath, there's nothing wrong with telling the truth. I don't like his ass. And he don't like me. And I'm good with it.
Agents are warning their clients that one wrong text could be misread and spiral out of control. The game of trust has officially changed. What once bonded teammates, inside jokes, shared pressure, brotherhood, now carries risk. Every player is looking over their shoulder, wondering if the next headline will drag their name into the mud. And what's scarier? The line between performance and perception is blurring fast. The scoreboard still matters, but the real test now is credibility. Can your reputation survive the scrutiny? Can your career handle the whispers? The storm hasn't just hit the players, it's hitting the entire industry. The moment those investigations went public, the media world exploded. TV networks and online outlets dropped highlight reels for scandal segments overnight. The focus flipped from who scored 30 points to who might be linked to gambling data. Big brands and major sponsors went into panic mode. They'd built their campaigns on clean competition, not controversy. Some froze their ad budgets, others called emergency meetings to reassess their deals with the league. Everyone realized the same thing. The NBA didn't just allow gambling to creep into its world, it might have invited it in too close. Now the culture around basketball itself is under a microscope. Every press conference, every betting ad, every player prop segment looks different in this new light. What was once seen as harmless entertainment now feels like a potential conflict of interest. Sponsors that once flashed NBA stars on every billboard are now sweating bullets. Deals that used to scream confidence suddenly look like financial landmines. Those shiny betting app partnerships, brand endorsements, and international licensing deals, all of them got hit with a big question mark. The league's deep entanglement with gambling media made it almost impossible to tell where the marketing ended and the betting began. And when that line blurred, the one thing that took the biggest hit was trust. Broadcast networks found themselves trapped in a moral tug-of-war. On one hand, they'd spent years building content around prop bets, odds, and flashy live wagering graphics. On the other, this scandal, with players, coaches, and insiders accused of gambling ties, threatened to blow up everything they'd sold to the public as pure entertainment. Executives were forced to face an ugly truth. The very content they promoted might have helped create the environment for this chaos. Behind the boardroom doors, panic spread fast. Every sponsor meeting turned into a risk assessment session. Every campaign was under review. Some advertisers paused their deals. Others tried to distance themselves completely. The question was simple but dangerous. What happens when the product you're selling starts to look compromised? And fans noticed. With betting overlays, real-time odds, and live wager prompts flooding every game broadcast, the NBA product started looking less like a sport and more like a betting stream. Opinion writers went off, calling out the league for letting gambling take over the culture of the game. Critics warned that by blurring competition and commerce, the NBA had created the perfect setup for exploitation. And now it was paying the price. Suddenly, the conversation flipped. Viewers weren't just watching to see who won. They were asking if the results were even real. Could money be influencing outcomes? Were athletes still just players, or had they become walking billboards for the betting industry? Sponsors started realizing that their athlete ambassadors now represented risk instead of reliability. The mighty empire of NBA marketing, once untouchable, was cracking under its own system. This wasn't about one player or one scandal anymore. It was about an entire industry that might have bet too much on its own image. In this new era, sponsorship isn't about visibility. It's about verification. Everyone wants proof that what they're backing is clean, fair, and transparent. Then came the next battle. The players' union strike back. As the scandal deepened, the focus shifted from a few individuals to the collective rights of every athlete in the league. The National Basketball Players Association, the NBPA, stepped in, not just to defend players but to challenge the system itself. They made it clear they weren't going to let anyone's career get destroyed without due process. The union went public after the league placed Terry Rozier on administrative leave without pay following his name being tied to the investigation. That move lit a fire. The NBPA filed an appeal, arguing that suspending pay before any official ruling violated the presumption of innocence and possibly broke the collective bargaining agreement. The NBPA's argument went deeper than one paycheck. It was about principle. They said the league can't claim to protect players while leaving them exposed to gambling-related manipulation, public suspicion, and financial punishment before facts are proven. And now, policymakers in several countries, especially where sports betting laws are still being written, are watching closely. If the NBA looks weak on integrity, governments might hesitate to expand gambling markets tied to it. That means this scandal isn't just about damaged reputation. It's about real money and global reach. If the NBA loses trust in even one major region, it could lose billions in potential revenue and millions of new fans. For a league that built its legacy on worldwide influence, damage in one country becomes a cost everywhere. The NBA stands at a breaking point, a legacy on the brink. Years of rapid growth, marketing dominance, and gambling integration have suddenly turned into liabilities. The flood of sealed indictments, insider leaks, and alleged organized crime connections has torn down the illusion that everything was under control. Careers hang in the balance, reputations are on the line, and the league's most valuable asset, integrity.
And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
My strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, oh. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life. Whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, oh.
And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
optional anymore. The scoreboard keeps ticking, the lights keep shining. But what's really on the line now isn't just trophies or stats. It's the soul of the game itself. Will basketball stay something fans believe in? Or just another thing they bet on? This scandal has ripped open cracks that go far deeper than the court. Federal indictments, leaked files, and shattered reputations have shown how fragile the system really is. The NBA isn't just facing a scandal, it's facing a reckoning. What happens next decides whether the league rebuilds its honor or loses the faith of millions who grew up believing the game was untouchable. Reform, accountability, and real transparency. That's the only way forward. Because the world's watching, and every fan, every player, every kid wearing that jersey wants to know if the league still stands for something real. If you're still here and want more of the raw truth behind the NBA's biggest stories, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this conversation is far from over.